Hey guys, welcome to Cancel This, May 30th. Getting ready for canceltheshow.com today. This is the show before the show. We just welcome you in as we get some things done. Doing some final wrap-ups here. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Extended weekend. I'm Vic Faust. Lizzie Sparks is here, ready to run the board today. Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson en route. We've got Projo running the boards. Hopefully there was some excitement for you over the weekend. A lot of great weather across the country, that's for sure. We did have that. This is Cancel This, canceltheshow.com, of course, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time live. And you can catch us anytime at our website, canceltheshow.com. We like to say hello to everybody as we're giving people a chance to jump in on the show as we're finishing up some issues that we have for the show today. If anything's going on, let us know in your neck of the woods. We appreciate that. Love when people check in. Jumping in a little bit earlier than normal today. It's a Monday, which means we have tons to talk about. The week already to Tuesday, so you got to love that. Hey, Timothy, good morning to you. Timothy, Mary, Facebook user as well. Holiday weekends. Eat too much?
I did. I
Drink
ate
too much?
so much. I did.
No.
It was fun, though. Fun. Did you overeat? Or were you a good boy?
No, I was not a good boy.
Yeah, I wasn't either. Well, I was a good girl, but.
Nope. I wish you did.
Yeah.
Ben says, why are you so tan? If I look tan, it's because I was outside Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and in the St. Louis area where we broadcast live our show, we had weather that was insanely nice. Tons of sun. I did run over to Ben's house yesterday. Wenty's, one of the Wenty's family owner, had a nice pool party yesterday. Got to sit out in the sun and watch the Cardinals lose to the Royals. Congratulations to our friends in Kansas City. So we had a lot of fun doing that. Hey, Trish, good morning. Hi, Karen. Oh, she's got work. Yeah, only on Monday and Tuesday. That's cool. As we get everybody in this morning. How many meatballs did I eat? I actually only ate 2 meatballs. They were amazing meatballs. Marla does not make the food, the owner of Wenty's. She gets it from a terrific food service. But she does make meatballs, and her meatballs are amazing.
That sounds good.
I had my first matzah with Marla, matzah balls, and they rolled me out of their house many months ago. Anyway, they were pretty good. So yes, we say good morning, everybody, as we get ready to start this morning on a Tuesday. I hope I don't say good morning, happy Monday. I guess we can talk about it when it starts too. When you break this down, it makes sense. But I've heard people say, come on, we're going overboard. And this is including a veteran when it comes to Happy Memorial Day or just, what do you say, condolences on this Memorial Day? Or how did we term it in our post?
Well, we had to change it because we had several people say we shouldn't say it.
To what?
Oh, we just changed it to how is your Memorial Day weekend going? Instead of saying happy. And I had never heard that was a thing until a couple years ago when they say that it really upset somebody that lost someone in combat. But I agree. I don't think there's any ill intent by saying happy. Of course there's not. Because America is supposed to be free because of the brave.
I asked a friend of mine yesterday, a veteran. He's like, no, I've got no problem with that.
Right.
And he lost friends in Iraq. So
must be a new thing that this is upsetting people because I've never heard that.
We try to be as respectful, especially with our military and police as big as we are.
Absolutely. Well, we took it to heart and changed it because we certainly don't want to offend the people who are brave.
Kimberly. Good morning, Donna. Donna says never offended anyone up until now.
Isn't that the truth? Everybody's offended about something.
But I don't know. I'm trying to make sure that we're processing it all right.
I don't think anybody.
It's hard to know what to do.
I don't think anybody made the ultimate sacrifice for us to be unhappy, is all I'm saying.
Correct. That's a good comment. Good comment.
Yeah, we continue. We're getting everybody in, welcoming everybody into the show. So we put that out there. Didn't want to offend anybody from that standpoint. Of course, everybody has their opinion. Which makes me wonder, are you not supposed to be happy on Memorial Day?
And I think we are supposed to be happy, but you're right.
Is it disrespect? I mean, are you supposed to not be happy and just because, I mean, if you're going to start this, as I always say, you go down a slippery slope, then let's actually do the deep dive and tear it all open, because the problem in American society is we're a headline society. Okay, let's tear it down then. And if we're going to go this way, then you go all the way, not just a little bit, all the way.
Mm-hmm.
What better way to celebrate your freedom than to be happy and celebrate your freedom because of the sacrifices that they made?
Kimberly says, I think the translation gets lost because some people look at it as just another weekend to party and barbecue instead of remembering, which is what happens as long as it's all put in the right tone and context. And who are the police that are going around looking to make sure that everybody's remembering? Good morning, Heather. To you, we appreciate it. Yeah, you remember your fallen. You do. Or at least that's what the intent was. Anyway, we got a lot to get to today. Big show. So we appreciate you jumping in for the show before the show today. Let's go ahead and start. We got a lot to get to. Hey guys, welcome in. Happy Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day. This is cancelthisshow.com. Appreciate you jumping in with us. Bright-eyed, bushy tail on a Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. This is cancelthisshow.com. Live Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Central, but all the time on our site, cancelthisshow.com. Once again, it's simple. If you tell people, how do I watch them? How do I listen to them? Cancelthisshow.com, cancelthisshow.com, cancelthisshow.com. Lots of people like to listen to us as a regular podcast or view us. They go back and do that. Hey, we're happy when anybody does that, and we appreciate the support we've had from the start. Of course, the start that we had, about 6 months ago. And of course, we're continuing to grow and trying to make that grow. I'm Vic Faust, Tabitha Hassel here. Lizzie Sparks in studio running those chat boards, and she is supercharged today with 2 laptops, ready to rock and roll. And add her 2 cents in. Eric Johnson en route, and of course, Pro Joe running the boards. With that being said, we're grateful everybody's jumping in. Give us your comments, your thoughts, your ideas, anything. You know what we do: news headlines, politics, cancel culture, education, business, society, entertainment. We do it all, and we have a blast doing it at the same point in time. It is Tuesday. Hope everybody had a terrific weekend. Once again, if you can, like, subscribe, share the show, go to all the platforms, do that. It helps us beat algorithms that are in there for messages like those that we have. And we don't say anything controversial around here. All we do is try to give the full truth, the entire story. Everywhere I go, people are like, I love what you guys do when it comes to telling the full truth. And that's what we try to do. We try to put our emphasis on that. And with that being said, as we welcome people in, we always tell people, check out our partnership page, please. Those are our advertisers. We appreciate donations if we give them. And if we get them, it's very, very important to what we do so that we can stay here. We also have calls to actions as well that we're getting into. The show, so that it can be as good as it possibly can be and beating all those algorithms that are out there. We want to ask each of you to please, please, please hit the thumbs up button on this episode. You just click it and remind people to do that. And of course, if you're feeling generous, please share the show to someone that you think would be a great addition to the Cancel This family in regards to helping educate us, getting involved in it as well. We appreciate that as well, because liking and sharing is the easiest and best way you can help us get in front of more people. And of course, fighting back against all the big tech stuff that can be out there. So we appreciate that as well. Once again, jump in, do what you can, share the show, participate. We love it if you're a live listener. If you're listening to this or watching this when it's not live, we appreciate that as well. And of course, always check out that partnership page. Go to the partners, let them know what we have going on there. Okay, coming up today, tons of stuff from the weekend. We have yet another company. They want to follow Bud Light. They want to follow Target. They want to lose a lot. We'll just get into all that and tell you what Kohl's is doing. That's right. Forget about that Kohl's cash. We got something for Kohl's coming up. What's going to happen with the debt ceiling situation? Republicans and Democrats both up. This whole thing has been just a disaster, but I guess it's the time that we live in 2023. Really cool video of what's being called a miracle in the sky. I don't know what to make of this. Let's just say it appears that there's people walking in the sky.
I saw that. And there's a ton of videos out there just like that, and I don't believe any of them.
I know. That's what we're going to get into. You got another story of girls losing their spot in the state track meet because of boys who wanted to run and pretend that they were girls. And we all know that's called pretending and identifying as something else. Yeah. Then they won, of course, because they were boys. And then they didn't show up to take their spots in the state meet, leaving out. So there were empty blocks, or not blocks because it was a mile run, but there were empty spots. And girls didn't get to go. So
That's
it's just,
awful.
It's terrible. Super popular ESPN female anchor now catching outrage because she's about equality in girls' sports. And she gets called out by another very ultra liberal columnist. What happened to women supporting women? Attacking her because she wants fairness in sports. Tab has her take today. Boy, I mean,
have we started the official show? Or are we still part of the morning? Sorry, I'll put my little headset on.
Yeah, we started the show.
I get confused.
No, it's because you're never here
like
on time, but that's fine.
Is it the real show?
That's all right.
Am I here? Am I not here?
You're not here. It's just an illusion that you're here.
Yes, we have started the show, Tabitha, but we've got Tab's take coming up. We're promoting what we're doing today. That's what the music was for.
I didn't even hear it.
I know you come in and get ready.
I was busy. I was busy.
Putting her makeup on.
No.
And then we've got Tab's take coming up today. Quick sentence or two about it.
Yes, we are going to be talking about, guess what they're doing in the United States. Guess what Fauci's up to these days?
Oh my God. I thought he left. I thought he retired.
We are now conducting the first human trials for an antidote to the dirty bomb.
Oh, great. You mean he's still around?
The first human trial.
We'll get into that. Russia, Ukraine, they continue to go back and forth. The latest making some headlines from across the country or across the world. Russia seriously upset, threatening to blow up the entire world now. Ukraine drones hitting their city in Moscow. Fortunately, nobody died. We'll get into that as well. Plus, an awesome soundbite in regards to college sports athletes, putting things in perspective on Memorial Day yesterday. But first, here's a look at our advertisers or sponsors. Jump in, share the show, do all those things that we told you about. We appreciate it. Back in 2 minutes.
And now it's here, the unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Marco, wait, What, no response? Hi, I'm Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with EXP, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Hey guys, welcome back to Cancel This, canceltheshow.com. We love what we do, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. Canceltheshow.com. It's that simple. Canceltheshow.com. You can watch us live. You can listen to us and or watch us as soon as the show ends as well, all the time. Check out our original content. Go back and check out those episodes. Get them back in play. We try to do a lot of evergreen things around here so that those topics stay relevant. All right, with that being said, I'm Vic Faust, Tabitha Hassel here. Eric Johnson on his way in, and of course, Libby Sparks running all of the chat lines, or at least 3 or 4 of them. I know she's doing that. Pro Joe taking care of the engineering aspect of what's going on. Okay, it's a Tuesday. Yesterday was Memorial Day. Hope everybody had a great time on their holiday weekend, remembering those who paid the ultimate price for our country. We were talking a little bit in the pre-show. Is it all right to say Happy Memorial Day, or hope you have a good Memorial Day, something to that respect? Because we know people try to go out and enjoy Memorial Day. You just want to do it with the right perspective. Some people get upset if they hear happy, or they just don't think it's honoring those who have lost their lives. Whatever. So you do what you got to do. All right. With that being said, we continue to say like our show, to beat all the algorithms that are out there for stations like ours that try to cover the entire full story, which is what we do here. You can call it controversial, but it's really not. We're just bringing facts to the table, backed by some opinion, but we're asking you to hit the thumbs button, the thumbs up button, please, on this episode. And if you're feeling generous, please share to somebody that you think would be a great addition to our Cancel This Show family. We appreciate that very, very much. Jeannie says theirs was very emotional. That kind of stuff can hit home. That's for sure. I never had a problem with it, but we'll do whatever you guys want to do, whether it's saying Happy Memorial Day or doing whatever it is that you want to do.
That's a tough one, because I've heard both sides. I know some people who say it's perfectly fine to say Happy Memorial Day because we are still celebrating our freedom that so many died for, that it should be a happy occasion. Then there's other people who get very upset And they say, well, there's nothing happy about today. It's not about being happy. It's about honoring those, who sacrificed their lives. I don't think there's a wrong way, quite honestly.
I don't either, but we're trying to make everybody feel as comfortable as possible because we don't know, but that's
You're
every
trying
day
to be
in life.
politically correct.
Here's the other thing. It's easy to jump on people in life. It's easy to cast judgments on people, but we don't really know what people are dealing with in their personal lives. What kind of crazy situation they just came from. You name it. This has nothing to do with Memorial Day, but it just has to deal with life. It's so easy to jump on other people, attack and throw the arrows and the stones and thinking we know you should do this and you do. Sometimes it's easier just sit back, let things happen, and try to do the best you can possibly do. This is cancelthisshow.com. Thanks for jumping in today, guys. It was Memorial Day, and one thing I heard yesterday gave me chills was this soundbite. And Joe will pop it up. The University of Notre Dame had a massive, massive upset win yesterday. They won the National Lacrosse Championship. Now, if anybody knows me, they know that I'm not a big Notre Dame fan. Sorry, I'm just not. But you just won the national championship. You were asked how you could possibly play as well as you could on a hurt hamstring. You just upset number 1 Duke, and nobody expected you to do it. And this was on Memorial Day. Just check out this response.
My first question is, how did you play with that leg?
Yeah, honestly, I've been waiting too long for this game. 60 minutes for the rest of my life. I got a lot of support from my family, my coaches, my medical staff. And Liam Entenmann actually sent me a text message last night about Mike Day. He was a soldier who took about 20 bullet shots and a grenade and still got up and killed two of his enemies. And Liam said, if this guy can do this, you could play through a little hamstring injury. So I said that was all the motivation I needed. Thank you, Liam, for sending me that text. It's Memorial Day. Couldn't be prouder to get this done on Memorial Day. Thank you to our troops. This is just unbelievable. It's so surreal.
Love you, kid. Love you, love you, love you. That's what about it gives me chills every time I hear that. No kneeling, no look at me, no backflips, none of that bullshit. It's all about the country. He just won the national title, and he's thanking our troops, which is absolutely amazing. And by the way, Mike Day, look him up. Total hero, total badass. Navy SEAL, paying the ultimate price on Memorial Day, doing everything that he could so that we could enjoy the beer, the barbecue, the ball that we have on Memorial Day. So, damn, I hope that message rings loud around the country, especially with companies or employers. That's for sure.
Agreed.
Is that it? That's all you got after that? Agreed.
Agreed.
Really?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Because you know what? I'm so tired.
I thought you'd be pumped up, Tabitha.
I think that I'm so tired of everything that's happening in the world of sports and all of the ridiculousness that has gone on and how politics has infiltrated. It's so nice to hear something different.
Yeah, we're on a roll, though, on a 2-week roll from a national. I mean, Brittany's Griner came back.
I saw that.
And we talked about it on the show here, how much she had an appreciation for listening to our national anthem now. I mean,
I bet. Is that what it takes?
Yes.
Is that what it takes?
Did you get kidnapped by Russia? Now you like America?
You put
not kidnapped. She committed a crime.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
She belonged in jail, and she still belongs in jail. They should have kept her.
Agreed.
Yeah, you do the BLM stuff. You take a knee. You disrespect the country. You cause issues. You say, look at me. Then you go spend some time in a jail cell. Then the country has to give up somebody who is far more of a trade value piece than you are. Sorry.
Is Brittany a he or a she? I have never figured it out.
I've heard both.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter, quite honestly. But I've always been curious if Brittany Griner is really a he.
Robert says a he. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. That's why I brought it up.
I don't know.
Then where was she imprisoned? But she was imprisoned with other females.
I have no idea.
From what I understand.
That's what I heard too.
I think in Russia, if it was really a man, they don't.
And then
put up
Bendy
with that
says she's
nonsense over
female,
there.
gay, whatever.
I think Brittany. I think she is actually truly a biological female.
So, but that was good to see her change her position. And then you had the Notre Dame guy who just broke the Notre Dame scoring record as well. Give a shout out to our troops. Give a shout out to the men and women of all ages, of all races who serve for this country and continue to do what they can for this country, despite upper levels of government, not always, and in many cases, treating our soldiers and our military men and women not with the respect that they should, and certainly not with the financial compensation that they should as well. So I wanted to get that in there, especially from the Memorial Day aspect of what we were dealing with yesterday. Terrific game. Congratulations. As hard as that is for me to say about Notre Dame. Maybe I'll start liking Notre Dame because of that kid.
Might have just changed your mind. That was a classy kid.
Yeah, very, very much the case. So welcome back in, guys. Once again, it's when we come back for the first day of the week. We did an AI show yesterday on Memorial Day because it was a popular show, just because we're going to be doing a second AI show coming up. So we wanted to promote that as well. As we get into some of these kind of bizarre things, since we're kind of there, Joe, can we put those people in the sky up? Can we do that? Okay. Who sent this to our group?
I did, kind of as a joke, thinking that we might use it on Friday, because I'm kind of with Tabitha. I don't think this is real, but it's a little strange. It's interesting.
I hope you can see this in the top right corner of your screen, because we have a certain size image that you can show. Okay, I'll set it up. In the upper right-hand corner of your screen, it appears that 3 images or silhouettes are walking in the sky. All right, let's see.
That's the news from the tornado. Y'all watch when I put play. You see up in the cloud. Watch them people walk out the car.
People are lying. We then had to pull over because that's when emergency crews were headed towards when we saw an ambulance, we saw a fire truck headed that way. And so we are almost there, but we're not even anywhere yet. And this is the damage we're seeing. We saw a few people kind of outside. It looks like they may have been possibly
watching.
Yeah, they walked out of the clouds. Now, we can't play that video without sound, right, Joe? Can we just play that video so we can talk over it without sound? Okay, Tabitha, right out of the gate, because you said earlier, you think this is fake?
No, I'm not saying fake. I don't think that it's hard for me to believe that. Of course, at this point, I'll believe anything. But it's hard for me to believe that there were people up walking in the clouds. But I will say, this is only one video of many, not at this particular incident, but there are many videos out there where after a big storm or after some type of catastrophe, they show what looks like people walking in the clouds, out of the clouds. It's not an unusual video. What to make of it, I don't know.
Okay, I could not disagree with you anymore to say that this is not out of the ordinary. Now, you may have seen videos like this, but I promise you, once again, you're like that half percentage person
that sees all the crazy videos.
The 0.0001 person. Oh, that's normal. No, you said it was difficult to believe that you would see this, but you've seen this before. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos where there's people in the clouds.
My only issue with this is, okay, clearly it's not doctored. Clearly something's going on. We've got so many skeptics in life, and that's fine. Is it because of some sort of, I guess, magnifying or reflection off something because it rains and water?
I don't know. I wish I knew. And Vic, you'll have to go out and look up the videos, because there are a lot of videos of weird stuff going on in the clouds. And one of the common theories is that storms are caused by beings, whether they are angels or demons or people in the sky. I've heard so many different theories. Then that's why we have these storms, is because they cause the storms. Is it real? Is it not? I don't know. Like I said, I would believe anything at this point.
No, there's scientific evidence of why we have rain.
Well, yes.
I've seen it. I hung around weather people for a long time.
And I get it.
I saw how things would develop from a scientific standpoint.
And have you ever seen the videos of where they show UFOs in the clouds? Especially during storms. There's so many different videos. I mean, I look up at the clouds all the time. I have yet to see anything, but there are a lot of videos out there. It is not unusual to see people walking in the clouds. It is not unusual.
Tabitha just said it's not unusual to see people walking in the videos.
Clouds. I mean, it's unusual for us to see it, but it's not unusual to see the videos.
Aaron quoting scripture, going to Revelation. Are there 4 of them? Are they on horseback? Did anybody hear trumpets sounding? Yeah, exactly.
And who's to say what the trumpet sounds like? Maybe it's the sound of a tornado.
Jeannie says, "Why are they called Western people?" I didn't know that they were actually titled that.
I didn't either.
But the other thing about this whole situation, Mary says the Bible says the clouds of the dust of his feet.
And there was feet. You could see
this
feet.
tornado also allegedly took some lives.
Yes.
And are those souls?
I hadn't even thought about that aspect.
From that standpoint, are those souls of some kind, spirits of some kind? But it was video that you said this came from the weekend, right, Lizzie? Because I always go back and check from Storm, make sure that we have the timestamp of being able to give proper information.
Not this weekend. It was like a couple weeks ago, I think. Because I saw this video a couple weeks ago.
Then there you go.
Then why didn't you give it to us?
Why? Because why would I?
Oh my God.
Because I want to talk Russia, Ukraine all time long.
Well, it happened, I believe.
Maybe it's because you say that you see this a lot. You think it's common.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos out there with people walking in the clouds. Okay. There's no question about it. And there's a lot of people, and especially in China for some strange reason. But if you go out, you can search the videos. You can find the videos of the people walking in the clouds. And the way I always think of it in my head is we don't really know what our world is, do we? Are we a little dust ball on somebody's finger? I mean, we have no idea what this universe is.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. What if
that would be to deny God?
No, it's not. Maybe God that doesn't deny God. Maybe God created the universe, all of these other worlds. I have no idea.
I could agree.
We might be a little speck of dust in the world. We might be a little speck of dust
about on somebody's finger.
So who knows?
That's what I was
maybe we're a
to.
little piece of dust on God's finger.
Well, we are born from dust and then return back to dust.
True.
We're a little speck of nothing.
And so to me, anything we see in the sky, I don't doubt anything anymore. I mean, look who sits in the White House, the fake. We actually have a president, not even in the real White House, but in a fake White House. So, I mean, I will literally believe anything.
Oh my God, that is funny. I mean, but I looked at that like 3 or 4 times and I went, okay.
It is wild. And
That's
it doesn't. It's not doctored.
No, that was my main point.
It's not doctored. I don't think anyway.
Not unless the local news.
This is a newscast.
Yes, that's why I was like, yes.
And it wasn't meant to point out the people. It was meant to show the aftermath of the storm.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. And I just thought it was weird.
Have you seen the videos of entire towns up in the sky?
What are you
there are videos where you can see an entire city.
No.
Up in the clouds, an entire city with buildings, skyscrapers,
of course.
Everything.
Lizzie, have you seen those cities?
I can only say I've seen them in like cartoon type things, but I've not seen it like in real time or anything.
Lizzie, can you put your mic down underneath your chinny chin chin?
All right, chinny chin chin.
I can see your face now. I like that. No, I haven't seen that, Tabitha. Where have you seen this?
You can go and look it up. They're all over Facebook. I maybe I just since I
they're
look at
not
the weird
all
stuff,
over Facebook.
Maybe since I look at these things, you know how when you look at something, they send you more
that
of
algorithm.
them.
Okay,
I've somehow gotten in the algorithm of all of the cloud videos.
Well, there you go. You do have to change your algorithms up. You know who the person is by what your algorithms are.
Exactly, and I get all of the wild algorithms. That's how I found the bird. Remember, suspended in the sky in Canada.
Yeah. Yes. And then it's our job to figure out if it's doctored, fake, real.
Exactly.
He had a line, was attached to a line in the air.
We'll never know, will we? We'll never know.
The bird was caught on a line.
We'll never know. Nobody ever said that, Vic. That's just your speculation.
Eric and I figured it out.
That's just our speculation.
It was the bird that was caught in the line going across. But that video was certainly interesting. We know we're living in 2023, crazy, crazy times. Although I know in 1990, people thought we were living in crazy times. It just seems as if it gets worse and worse and worse.
Things are stranger every
They are. I never
day.
thought I'd see the Jetsons in real time, but we're kind of living it.
Well, speaking of the Jetsons and Suits and things of that nature, I think it's a perfect time for Tab's Take because when did we ever think we'd be dealing with some of this stuff? I'm sure we go back to a Simpsons episode or something in some cartoon somewhere, we'll see something about what's happening with Tab's Take today. That's for sure. I just wish Dr. Fauci was not a part of it.
Oh my gosh, I know. You know, it's so ridiculous when you think about this. For the first time ever in the United States history, we are conducting the first clinical trials of an antidote that will counteract the chemicals in a dirty bomb. And if you don't know what a dirty bomb is, dirty bombs. There have been several attempted dirty bomb attacks here in the United States. Usually that's a terrorist type activity, and they've all been thwarted. So far, nothing has actually happened, but the FBI, the CIA, has stopped many dirty bomb attacks here in our country. And what a dirty bomb is it's typically a bomb, but it has nuclear matter in it. It could have uranium, plutonium. It has different types of radioactive materials inside the bomb. So instead of, let's say, somebody lobbing over a big nuclear missile here, it's very centered. So let's say they dropped a dirty bomb in the middle of your city. It might reach, 10 blocks, 20 blocks, 30 blocks.
I don't like where this
something like that.
Oh.
And so they're expecting, and they have warned us that we could have future attacks. They being the FBI, the government has warned us that we could potentially be under attack, especially leading into the 2024 election. And so now we're going to test 14 people. That's it, just 14. 14 healthy individuals are going to be subjected to this. It's a pill form. It's an antidote to where if you are under attack in your city, it's not going to be as a country, it's going to be as a city, because they only cover a several block area to a couple miles. But it's very much a radiation attack if a dirty bomb goes off in your area. So this is going to be the first antidote ever to uranium or plutonium or any of these other items listed in dirty bombs. No, so I think we all know what happens, don't we, whenever the government starts testing? What happened when they started creating a vaccine for monkeypox? What happened? Well, guess what? We had a monkeypox outbreak, didn't we? What happened when they started testing these mRNA vaccines? What we got an outbreak of the C word, right?
We did.
So I think whenever I see the testing of something like this, that tells me, what are they planning to do to us? What are they planning to do to us? They're creating an antidote because they know they're going to attack us, right?
Yes, and isn't that sad? We know that
sad.
They are.
It is sad. And not only that, but guess who's going to be buying? I didn't get as far. I know that the NIAID is the one who is in charge of this study. But I'm wondering, we need to track down the stock of whatever this antidote is. We need to track down the stock.
Well,
because whatever pharmaceutical company is making this antidote, their stock is likely going to go sky high.
I hope it's not Chizer.
It probably is. Because what's going to end up happening is,
starts with a PH.
Exactly. If the antidote is successful in these 14 individuals, and they will not know until 2024, then guess what's going to happen? That stock is going to skyrocket because the United States will probably buy millions of doses of this antidote.
Well, and then we know what happens. You get told you need to do this, you need to do that. And of course, as Americans, we have a short memory. We forget those scorecards, as I like to refer to as. But Kathy says the avian flu, I've heard this is the next big pandemic, according to the WEF, the World Economic Forum. And we know that they're trying to take over the world as well. Bendy says iodine pills have been used in the past. Blocks radiation from entering the thyroid, she thinks.
Yes, but the problem with iodine pills is they don't react to uranium or plutonium or a lot of the other ingredients that can be used in a dirty bomb.
And we have no idea what could be put into that. Case in point, the pandemic and what we were told we needed to get to help us. And then, of course, we don't know everything that's in there. How is that affecting some of us? Oh, yeah, we've got some myocarditis, we've got other things. And of course, if you're putting anything foreign into the body, can it really be that good?
And can you imagine these 14 people going through this clinical trial? Hey, we're going to give you a pill. Now, there's already a shot available, but you can't make a shot widely available in this sense. And so that's why they're trying to come up with a pill. The shot doesn't counteract all of the things that could be in the dirty bomb. But could you imagine being one of those 14 people?
So where is this going on?
In California, of course.
So 14 people
in California
have volunteered. And don't be surprised by that.
Healthy people.
Because there are parents who have volunteered their children
to
take starter shots if we ever had to deal with a pandemic situation again.
I know one of those parents.
What?
Yeah, I knew a parent.
Where do they live?
Right here in this area.
Oh my God!
They actually took place in the clinical trials. They enrolled their grandchildren to take place in the clinical trials. Why would anyone?
What grandma would do that?
I have no idea.
But it does
has
happen.
Lost their mind.
Adrian just saw it. She says, looking into baking soda. I had an old video I need to find but I'll get it to you. I'm not quite sure what baking soda would have to do with something when it comes to a dirty bomb.
I don't either. I'll have to look that up. I don't know.
But I have heard that baking soda is a miraculous invention.
It does so many things.
Several functions.
It cleans your pool.
I was going to say,
dump a whole bag in.
When I can't find different cleaning things, I always use baking soda.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can use it to brush your teeth too.
I did know that. Robert says baking soda is a neutralizer, which is why it can be. And Adrian, of course, thank you for listening and jumping in. We do appreciate and like to conversate, so to speak, with our viewers who jump in live on any of the platforms that we're on: Rumble, YouTube, Clout Hub, Twitter, Twitch, of course, Facebook, any of those. You can jump in, and Lizzie's also taking those. We do have a chance to look down and see every now and then, but Adrian says radiation treatment with baking soda.
Yeah, and that wouldn't surprise me. And I don't know what is in this pill. And of course, they're not going to tell us right now what's in this pill. But I couldn't imagine being one of those 14 people thinking, okay, I'm healthy, because they have to be healthy. They have to test healthy to be part of the clinical trial, knowing they're going to be sequestered for however many, 14 days, I believe it is, 14 people for 14 days to take these pills. I mean, where are they going to come out on the other side? And how much money? They're probably being paid a lot of
money.
There's a clinical trial place, as a matter of fact, in Kansas City that will pay people thousands of dollars. You go and you stay there one weekend to a week, because they send me emails all the time. And I mean, it's $10,000, $15,000 to participate in these clinical trials. That's how they get people in.
When there's a lot of trusting people, there are. I mean, that's how I was raised, trusting in a lot of senses like that. And I've been trying to get that out of my body for a long time.
I was raised like that. My parents believed anything that people said.
But I think we have so much evidence now from a governmental standpoint. Yeah, probably not a good idea.
No, pay you what, $10,000 to harm yourself forever, to literally potentially ruin your life.
And until you lose your health, I don't think we quite appreciate what great health is.
And they prey on people who are desperate. Think about that. They reach out to people, let's say, and if somebody might be desperate for money, they might agree to one of these researches.
But on the heels of what you say and what you bring up, if something were to happen in this country, wouldn't we want some sort of antidote? And how would you get a proper antidote if we needed one, so to speak, that is actually going to take care of us?
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I mean, we need antidotes
test
for these
it on
things.
The monkeys again.
But at the same time, how do we trust our government and what they put into it? Because they don't. Do you really feel like the government cares about your health?
No. I know.
I don't.
It's a money issue. I
don't. I feel like it's a big money issue. It's a pharmaceutical company out there who thinks, oh, we're probably going to be attacked with a dirty bomb. Let's come up with a way to treat it so that they can make billions of dollars off of it, when the United States, Canada, and all these other countries, just like they did with TPOXX, order millions and millions of doses of it.
Well, I mean, you got all these things that hit us too regarding this, and trying to get out the best medical, the best anything you can. I mean, hell, last week I saw an update. It made me sick to think about this, but Japanese scientists are now saying that they've got test tube babies ready to go by 2030.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going, what?
And cloning. They're cloning people.
Well,
like they've
we've
cloned
talked
animals.
about the cloning. Even without building biological babies. We talk about all the AI, we talk about the robots, and all of the information that comes out with that. Then you've got, okay, well, we're going to build and make this as medically sound as we can. But my God, what are we putting into our bodies? And of course, it all gets back to control and cash.
And lining the pockets of Congress. That's what this comes back to. Because, they get the heads up. And they knew about this before it was even approved. And of course, I am sure they have already bought the stock. That's why you go into Congress with your typical service salary, and then you end up with millions of dollars when you're done.
Well, Robert likes to remind us that we've been cloning since the 40s or earlier. Not surprised from that standpoint. Not one.
Have you seen the photos?
No, I haven't.
It is such a horrific experiment
because
they
it's
have
so
done
difficult to see
on the human race. Because think about this. When you attempt to clone animals and attempt to clone people, there's a lot of mistakes that are made.
And they're expected.
There's a lot of suffering that happens between the animals and the babies. It's horrific.
So sad.
Well,
I have seen the photos. It's horrific.
Well, I brought that up before in the show. Just, from the whole medical standpoint of, oh yeah, we're going to give sections of African American communities all kinds of STDs and syphilis to see what happens to them, so we can train and get better and make money on some sort of antidote there as well. So people jumping in, sacrificing their bodies on purpose and knowing that they're doing it, much different than having it being given to you and you not knowing that that's going on. But in some cases, the cupcake was like that. Go get it. Do what you got to do without knowing exactly every element that's in it, what it can do for you, or any possible side effects.
And the remdesivir, think about how many people took that, how many hospitals forced people to take it against their will. And then those people did not survive. It makes me sick. Absolutely sick.
So is there any other information from this trial that's going on?
We won't know anything until 2024.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, who knows when something could happen, any sort of dirty bomb, but somebody wanted to know where the ammonium nitrate, I think it was ammonium nitrate that disappeared.
It is. But that doesn't, but the ammonium nitrate does not, it's not an antidote to all things found in a dirty bomb. There are several different radioactive materials that does not treat. And that's why they are testing this particular pill.
Tara says St. Louis County Health Department and county health departments all across the country, by the way, I'll add that, still pushing the cupcake. But of course, you're not going to start something and then stop it, especially when you've ordered so many, quote, doses of such cupcake. There's not much you can do it. Oh, we got a big stock, because that stuff can also, I thought it can go bad. I thought there's
it does have a timeline
on those situations.
Especially if it's warm. It has to be, just think, it has to be kept refrigerated. Well, only one of, I can't remember which one, but there was one of them that does not have to be refrigerated. The rest have to be refrigerated.
And by the way, Jay, I know a dirty bomb idea isn't anything new. We've talked about it.
It is nothing new. Anyone can make one.
It's just come up more so in the last few years, especially when you see what's happening at the border. And of course, with all the headlines that hit us as Americans, it's easy to forget about what's happening with the border from just a few weeks ago with the ending of Title 42. Oh, now we're going to talk about debt ceiling. Oh, now we're going to start talking about the presidential campaign. Oh, now we're going to start talking about BRICS. I mean, there's so many things.
And you know what what's so interesting is, I think what brought about this testing for the dirty bomb is that Russia claimed that that Zelensky was going to basically create some false flag events and unleash dirty bombs amongst their own people and blame it on Russia. And then, 6 months later, all of a sudden, we're testing antidotes. And we know what's going to happen, right? The United States, we're going to spend our hard tax earning money to spend buy millions of doses of this to send it over to Ukraine to protect those people.
Boy,
that's what's going to happen.
You're right.
Oh, I certainly hope not. By the way, this is cancelthisshow.com, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. live. You can catch us anytime on our website. It's simple. cancelthisshow.com. That's how you can watch us. That's how you can listen to us. You just click on your platform that you want. Of course, you get us live in person, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. But after the show, for those who don't know, you can just click on any of those platforms and watch the show. It immediately saves. And of course, you can also listen to us as a regular podcast on the sites that are down there as well for your listening pleasure. I'm Vic Faust, Tabitha Hassel's here, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe's here, and of course, Eric Johnson walking into studio. With that being said, we had, and Tabitha, I know you want to, this does not resonate for me because I compare it to a Middle East situation. I know you think that I'm lost and like, oh, you need to take this more serious.
I have never thought you were lost about anything.
No, about this Russia-Ukraine situation with the drones. I'm like, okay, it's another one here, another one there, but I wanted to be respectful to you and salesperson Jill, who wanted to address it before we got into some of these other massive issues today what's going on with the Kohl situation. Yeah, they've jumped in to follow targets laid. The ESPN female broadcaster now being ripped by another female writer from USA Today. And of course, boys taking girl spots at the state meet. But what we had happen overnight, why is this significant?
It is actually very
with
significant.
Drones hitting Moscow, because to me, it reminds me of the Middle East right now. One side does this, the next side does that, and back and forth.
It is, but the difference is that Russia is at a trigger point, and that's the difference between this. Is that Russia is at the point now where they're ready to pull the trigger. They really are.
What does that mean?
We're poking.
But what do you mean pull the trigger?
Well, I'm talking about, I'm not talking about nuclear weapons necessarily, although Kathy is right that Russia has moved nuclear weapons into Belarus. And even Belarus has threatened to use nuclear weapons. So there's a lot of nuclear threat out there. But why it's so significant about these drone attacks in Moscow is that Putin has warned many times that if you attack Russia, if you attack Moscow, they will hit back, and they will hit back hard. And we just talked about this last week where allegedly some Russian troops have turned and started working with the Ukraine and are trying to create a civil war inside Russia. And you know what happened overnight, Vic? Is the ruble dropped significantly in a complete free fall over these drone attacks, because I think that Russians know what's coming next. Is when they're getting attacked in their own country. Think about what would happen if we were attacked in our own country. What if a country we are warring back and forth with lobbed a drone into the White House? What would we do? It's a very similar circumstance. Russia will hit back, and they're going to hit back hard. And when they do, we have to think about this. When they hit Ukraine hard, and they're going to, what are we going to do? How are we going to get involved?
Yeah.
Because we will.
I could see that.
Well, wasn't Lindsey Graham with Zelensky this past weekend?
He was. And did you hear that Putin put a bounty on Lindsey Graham?
Yes.
Not for his life, but for his arrest.
Because he said it was money well spent, that we're sending all that money to Ukraine
and to
kill Russians.
And to me, you know what it seems like? It just seems like theater.
A lot of it
probably is.
A lot of it
is. Like for sure.
Because,
because by the way,
Lindsey Graham will never be arrested by Russia. He's never going to go to Russia.
And by the way, the drone strikes or the drone that hit, it didn't do any real damage and it didn't hurt anybody.
But it's
more of a signal.
It did hurt some it did hurt some residential buildings, and thankfully, as far as I know, no one was hurt.
I guarantee. I guarantee downtown St. Louis buildings took a bigger beating over the weekend.
Probably so. Probably. But Russia
Ukrainian buildings.
Russia will absolutely retaliate. There's no question about it. Because next time, and especially what if these were American-made drones? Because Russia has them now in their hands. I mean, I really think we're going to see something come out of this.
Eric, were people talking about, it wasn't, never mind. This just happened over.
Eric's still waking up from the weekend.
Hey, Boot, how are you feeling?
I'm good.
Are you better?
I'm just in the spectators gallery today. You guys are doing a good job.
No,
I don't know anything that you're talking about. You're ahead of Fox News, obviously. So I'm just look how tan you are.
We tried. I was outside.
I noticed that too. You are very tan.
There's some
he was
news right
partying
there.
with the meatballs.
Yeah, well, I was outside for 4
party.
straight days and doing
You
a lot
were?
I didn't go anywhere. I had a lot of yard work, sitting in the backyard.
Yeah.
Trying to
This is a great example.
come up with ways to make this show better.
This is a great example. What was the last time I saw you guys? Like a month ago?
It was a couple months ago, I think.
And I buried my head without any news over the weekend. I was at the Lake of the Ozarks. The only news that I saw was someone got really pissed off that the tuck underwear was put away in Target. Someone,
he got mad about that?
Yeah, someone was trying to get his latte, and he goes, "I'm just offended. I'm not going to do it. I'm just.
Please do it.
Please don't, because I will never get that out of my head. Please don't.
No, you know what? Legitimate. Look, you know what? Target. Not to go off topic. Not to go off target, but
I like that.
But I'll tell you what, I saw both sides of that little argument this weekend.
How could you see both sides of that
I
argument?
did.
How could you
know
see
what?
both sides?
What I saw was I said corporate America should not get involved in social problems. And this guy was legitimately pissed off that he couldn't find his Pride shirt or whatever it was that he was looking for. And I was like, damn, I just saw the other side of this thing. The rednecks hate the Pride stuff, but there's the other side that hates not having the Pride stuff.
It's not about anybody hating the Pride stuff. I don't hate Pride stuff. I don't want to be marketed for children. And a lot of these products were marketed for children. That's where I draw the line at that. But I will tell you what, we talked last week about Target either completely removing these items or moving them to the back of the store. And while that's probably true for some stores, it's not true for all, because I saw so many people posting over the weekend that they went to their Target store this weekend and the displays were right in front of the door when you first walk in.
When you walk in.
Right when you walk in.
And then the other problem is that he's dealing with a satanic dude to fund all this stuff from Australia, apparently. That's where I really have the problem.
Yeah, the UK guy.
That's where I have the problem, is that there's this avenue into Target that's satanic.
I love your voice. I love your voice this morning. It's a little scratchy.
You like that?
It's hot. Eric's got the hot man voice.
That is 3
By the
nights
way,
of yelling.
Eric, I think it's a great thing. I do. And we want people to listen to us as much as you can, watch us, support us, do what you can. But I think it's good to unplug every now and then for a day or two. Reset. I think there's some clarity.
I don't know that I did that because I wanted to. I was just there.
I know, but it's clear. But sometimes he clears ahead and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
It just gives
made you. I'll tell you what it did. It made me feel like this budget thing that's going with Biden and I wasn't. So important.
And we're going to talk all about that.
It made me feel like Ukraine, who gives a damn. It made me feel like people are out there living their lives. I mean, where's Kevin at? The owner of this place. I have some stories about him. That guy knows how to rock and roll.
Yeah, he flew back last night.
He did.
And by the way, he told me on Friday that you were going to fly with him at one point.
Yeah, well, I would have, but I had to get my stuff down there. But it was, no doubt. He was. It's cool, and I'm talking to all y'all on Facebooks and wherever you're listening. Unplug your brain from everything for a while. You will feel a lot better. And now it's time to get back in the car and go crazy. Let's go.
That's right. That is very good.
Let's go crazy.
That reminded me of the song.
By Prince?
No, Girls Going Crazy.
Oh, I think Girls Gone Wild. That was the show.
No, that's not us. We'll just cancel this. That's all we are.
Eric was part of Girls Gone Wild this weekend.
But people aren't talking politics and people aren't worried about the serious issues going on in life at Lake of the Ozarks over Memorial Day weekend, are they?
Which that's good. That's
some people and some people not.
No, it's good and it's bad.
I did see a lot of Make America Great hats.
Did you see Trump flags again on the lake?
I didn't see the Trump flags, but there were a lot of Gen Z millennials with Make America Great flags. So I was like, what the F is going on around here, man?
See, Eric, you didn't expect that, did you? Because you always think that the soccer moms and the young Gen Z people don't care about politics or Trump.
It did.
So you were surprised.
I'm wondering if it's a fashion statement.
But Eric, I ran into
Good.
a young woman yesterday at a Memorial Day barbecue who saw you guys play on Sunday night.
Sunday night?
Yeah. She's like, oh, they were a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate that.
You guys are fun. I hate it that I couldn't go.
Said you can listen to them on canceltheshow.com Monday through Friday.
Yeah, well,
8 to 10 a.m. The one thing that did come up, since you brought that up, Eric, over the weekend, Target did get some bomb threats from transgender groups because their merchandise was removed in their store.
Doesn't that make you just kind of laugh and giggle?
It does, because Target is getting hit by both sides now.
But think about this. It's not conservatives making bomb threats.
Correct.
And it's this trans group. And let's talk about something. Can we for just 1 second? That the trans movement has become very violent. Remember the Tennessee shooter, the female that went through and killed, some students and a couple at least
Nashville.
In Nashville. Well, no one even talked about this, but she had the trans power sticker on her weapon. I have a photo of it.
Yeah, that's a legit picture. That's not a doctored picture.
It's not a doctored picture. Why aren't people talking about this more?
What was that? I'm sorry.
It's a trans group that has become very violent. And one of them went out and committed a shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, a mass shooting at a school, at a Christian school.
Yes.
And no one talks about what was behind it. She had the trans power sticker.
She's the one that was being counseled by the pastor.
To why was she being counseled? Because her parents thought that if she got counseling, she wouldn't be gay or she wouldn't be trans.
Yeah.
And now they're making bomb threats to Target. Now, why isn't our government, why isn't the FBI coming out and saying
that's a good point?
These people, this is a terror group. Why aren't they treating them
politics
like
you
terrorists?
Know the answer to that.
And what in the world is, and Antifa is largely trans, and no one wants to call them a terror group.
I hadn't heard that before. I didn't know.
Oh
that.
yeah, Antifa is largely trans.
Yes, that's true.
Absolutely so.
In a weird way, Tabitha, I think you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
it's the emos. Antifa. We talk about it in the shows.
Mm-hmm.
In the old days, the emos were kind of, you didn't have to worry about them too much. They were always in the kind of the shadows of your school. They kind of hung together. They looked up. They were like the what's her name from the Breakfast Club?
Ali
Sheedy.
Yes.
She was kind of like that character. You didn't worry about them too much. You're just like, man, stay away from them. They won't bite. But now they've kind of found a power. of sorts.
And it's
they're very
violence.
They're a very alternative group. They would do anything for the money that Soros would give them.
Correct.
They are a dangerous group. They come in, they do things, they'll get in your face. And there's so many people that would just, destroy them, but they can't because they'll be on camera and they'll get vilified. It's a really weird dynamic that they have. And now that the trans are coming out and doing it, the trans people are victims, right? So that if you're trans, you're a victim, you're being oppressed. So you now have the license to go out there and protest, correct? And if you're retaliated against, oh my God, God forbid.
Why aren't obviously, like in any group and in any situation, it's the minority trans people that are out there causing the violence. Why aren't the other trans people? And, there are conservative trans people, because there's a couple who have messaged me and they listen to the show. Why aren't they speaking out more against the violence?
Well, the gay community that are conservatives that support this show do speak out, and
they do,
and it frustrates them.
Yes, they do.
There's two different gay communities. First of all, there's the 60-year-old man transgendered society that like to go out and play dress up in the burlesque shows in downtown St. Louis. That are totally cool, have no problem with them. They As a matter of fact, when you guys started bringing up the trans community, those are the guys I kept thinking about. The ones that would walk into the Bottleneck Blues Bar every now and going, is that a guy or a girl? I can't tell. Oh, and they did a really good job. Anyway. And then you have the other ones, the emos, that are kind of like Tabitha says, and taking over the violent side of all
They're
this.
becoming very violent, just like Antifa is very violent. What are they going to do to us going into the 2024 elections? Is this why the FBI is warning that violence will and could occur if these people are attacking and making bomb
But
threats?
here's the thing. It's June is Pride Month. So you're going to see a lot of the flags around. The difference is everything as we've learned in life, you have to put things in their own little space and then you go through it. Okay. What's being marketed to kids? What's not being marketed to kids? What is good for kids to have marketed to them? Target, last I saw, it was $11 billion they've lost now since April 30th.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was 11 billion.
Where's Budweiser in that?
Budweiser can't give beer away. Eric, literally.
That's a good point.
They're selling cases of beer for about $3 of Bud Light now. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Somebody said 97 cents or so, $1 at Walmart. I don't know if that's true.
I mean,
wow.
It's insane what's happened to Bud Light. And they can't stop the free for all. They
just
can't.
became Milwaukee's
The free
best.
fall is going.
Wow.
They sure do.
So now,
Damn.
but check out, but then Kohl's, enter Kohl's. Check out Kohl's now. Here's the thing.
Go on.
It's not just a matter of pride. It's a matter of promoting pride to kids.
That's where the line is drawn.
And when you check out this picture of Kohl's, there's a lot going on here. So now Kohl's is getting called out.
Mm-hmm.
So Kohl's, these little baby little jumpers, or what would you call? I mean, baby onesies. Excuse me.
Yeah, baby onesie. Mm-hmm.
And then if you look all in those pictures too, they're also putting people who are wheelchair bound.
Oh man.
And I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, okay,
they had a shot.
What are we trying
Kohl's
to do?
had a shot to earn market share, and they screwed it up. ESG. What's that stand for again? That it's the social score that Tabitha keeps talking about in business.
Social credit score.
Man, why don't these CEOs say screw you?
It's environmental, social, and governance.
And they have to get that dumb score up so BlackRock will fund them even more.
Exactly. And here's what and we've talked about this so many times. Companies need that cash, and they get money from the government from a variety of sources. And if your ESG score is not where it should be, boom, you lose that funding. And many companies need that money. And then you kind of forget. You're like, okay, well, I want to stay in business. I want to continue to do what I've done. I've been around for a long time. But if your ESG scores there, I still don't think most of these companies want to do what they're doing.
No, I don't either.
But then it's almost like, okay, we're going to take our lumps.
I digress. I think that the marketing chick that screwed up Bud Light, I think she was totally all in on that garbage.
She was.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Because you don't go on a podcast or in front of a web camera and say, oh, yeah, we were marketing to a bunch of frat boys before. That's disgusting. Now we're just going to try something different. No, I think she was all in. It was the CEOs that were like, wait a minute. Has she not seen the damn Clydesdales?
I mean, so.
But I don't have an issue with this. I don't have an issue with the onesie with the pride flag, quite honestly, because you know what? This is America. We're all free to do what we want to do. Where the line draws for me is
you didn't like marketing to kids.
They're not marketing this to kids. This is for kids' parents, and there are gay parents out there who want their kids to wear a pride flag. And in America,
so
that
where's
is
the
your
line?
choice.
Where's the line stop?
That is your choice. But here's
earlier
where
you said something
No,
different.
I said there's a line that's drawn where if you're selling swimming suits where you can tuck your stuff in to little kids, that's a problem. That's where my line is drawn. If you're putting it at the front of the store and shoving it in my face, that's where the line is drawn. If they want to have a section in Target, in Kohl's, somewhere, wherever they want to do it, just like where they have a section of American flag stuff for conservatives. They have sections sometimes where that has MAGA products.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's not in the front of the store. They're not shoving it in anyone's face. If they want to have a pride section somewhere off in the store,
Where do they
that's
have?
fine.
I've never seen a
Where
big-
do they
MAGA
have a
stuff at
MAGA
Target.
section?
Yeah, you can find it at Target and Kohl's. I buy flag stuff at Kohl's all the time.
No, not flag stuff.
I have never seen
Where-
MAGA stuff at Kohl's.
Okay,
You
thank
can't
I
even
have
get on
seen
an
it at
airplane with
Target.
the MAGA hat on.
I know, because
Right.
you're a terrorist, for God's
You're
sake.
telling me
Yes.
that you saw MAGA hats at Target?
I don't know about hats, but I saw some shirts.
Hell-effing no.
I saw some shirts.
You saw MAGA shirts for sale at Target.
I did.
Okay.
I would have bought one, but I haven't been to Target in a while because of the whole bathroom thing.
But why sell your sex preferences at Kohl's, Tabitha, to little kids?
Well, these are onesies
Why
that are
push it?
being bought by parents.
You know, here's the,
that little kids are seeing
I
them wear
don't
it.
think
Brothers,
it should
sisters,
be
siblings.
marketed or targeted to kids, but at the same time, isn't in America, we're a free country to do what we should
Correct.
do because what we want to do, and that has to be free for everyone. And I think, Vic, if you wanted to dress your kid in a pride onesie, you should be able to do that. I don't want to see those items in the front of the store when I walk in. I don't want it to be shoved in my face. I maybe wouldn't even want my kids to see it. But at the same time, isn't that we can't say America is free for us and not free for everyone.
Here's what the problem is with that I have with this whole thing. And this is just me and you guys can laugh at me, whatever you want. Why don't we have a bondage month? Why don't we have it's bondage night at the Blues game? Get your gag ball when you get your next Bud Light beer. Why don't they have that? I mean, seriously, that's in the same bucket, right? A bondage is in your bedroom. LGBTQ stuff is in your bedroom. You know what I'm saying?
It should be.
I'm with
Do you
you guys
understand what
on
I'm
that.
saying?
What's
I
the
would prefer,
difference?
and I'm with you guys on that.
I mean, I don't care if
to
you
me-
have bondage night. If that's cool for you, if society wants to not get all up in arms about gag balls and handcuffs, I'm cool with it too.
Well, and the whole point is you can't walk in a store anymore
Yeah.
with your toddler or your 2-year-old or your 4-year-old. Mommy, what's that flag about?
That's
Mommy,
the issue.
you have to explain to a child, oh, that's because 2 ladies have sex instead of the mommy and daddy have sex. Kids are
Where
way
does
too little to hear about
transgender
that.
come into the mix?
But you,
Correct.
Gordon says, anytime you put it on a kid size, you're pushing it to kids. Let's get real.
And I get
Jennifer
that
says
too.
they crossed the line coming after our kids. We're done with them there.
I'm
Yes.
100% with Jennifer on that.
But you just said you're.
I see that. I see that.
I
as
hear you
being
saying two different
different.
things. I'm not trying to come after
No,
you.
it's okay. I know it's tough to explain. I think that here in America, we are all free to do what we want. I don't think somebody's sexuality should have a flag. I don't even like talking about this stuff. I don't think stores should market a flag that represents somebody's sexuality. I don't think it should be in sports.
well,
I
then
don't think
that's
it
the
should be in
rainbow flag.
schools.
Sorry to tell you.
I don't.
It's just something
they
that
have it-
simple.
They have it at Silver
Just some-
Dollar City right now. I don't want to
just
see
something-
any
Oh,
of that
I see what
stuff.
you're saying.
I don't want to see it. I don't think it should happen.
But
at
yeah,
the
I
same
see it.
time, this is America,
Yep,
and
I get it.
we are free people, and we can't say, well, I want to wear my MAGA hat. Or what if I wanted to wear a big shirt that said I'm heterosexual? I should be allowed to
I
do
tell you
that.
what,
I don't
Tab,
want to, but
I hear what you're saying. But fine, whatever. Here's the deal. I'm getting tired of all of these months that represent the downtrodden of the world. We have a month for everything that is weird and controversial. When is the white Swedish month? When does everybody
You'll get your day, Eric.
when does everybody get a day? Why is it that we're always focusing on something that some of the people Gay Pride Month can offend a lot of Catholics, can offend a lot of Methodists, can offend a lot of Southern Baptists, but yet they have it slammed in your face like they're normalizing it. That's the problem.
Eric, I got the perfect.
That is what they're doing.
That's what
they are normalizing.
I don't give a damn personally.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we follow Pride Month in June with Military Month in July?
Or what about? I tell you what.
Military
hold on. That's not even controversial. What about this?
And that's where the problem is. It's part of a
What
bigger
about
agenda.
this? Where are the people on these committees that say, all right, we're doing a Make America Great Again month, and in every sports complex in the country has to have a MAGA emblem on their sleeve somewhere. How about that? There you go. Then you prove that you don't have any bias whatsoever. And first of all, there's nothing even controversial about MAGA. Nothing. Make America great again.
Well, only because the FBI.
I can't get my mind wrapped.
Kids.
Yeah,
And it's part of my biggest issue with all of the gay pride stuff is it's part of a bigger. It's just a tiny part of a bigger agenda, and that agenda is they want all of us and they want our kids to be indoctrinated because they want us all to be androgynous. They don't want people to get married or have children. And that how else do you do that?
No, it makes
by
sense.
Indoctrinating children.
Right.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We come back. Yeah, boys, these are boys racing in California, qualified for state, then said, oh, people are being mean to us, so we're not going to go. And then guess what? Actual girls who wanted to be at state couldn't go. Yeah, we'll break that down. ESPN's, I'll tell you who it is, Sam Ponder. She's a super, super, super good football host. She holds her ground. She is excellent on NFL coverage. Yeah, well, she's trying to do what she can for girls to compete against girls. And then she has another female writer from USA Today attacking her. Can't make this stuff up.
Wow.
Can't make it up. And then we'll break down the debt ceiling stuff. How is it going to affect us? Where's it going to go? It seems like nobody's happy, which is very, very interesting. The far right and the far left. Anyway, we got that plus anything else that's coming down. It's cancelthisshow.com. Stay with us, or if you take a break, come right back. Share the show. Pro Joe's running the boards. Lizzie's on the chat line. Eric, Tab, and Vic here. Back with more right after this.
House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during our solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
Jonathan, what does make Rockwood so special?
Rockwood, we carbonize it higher than anybody else does. So we're cooking out everything that produces ash, smoke, anything like that. It gives you a lot more control over the temperature, a lot more control over the fire, and it's 100% Missouri product.
All right, where can people get it?
It's at 100-plus locations around St. Louis, any Deerberg, Straub's, meat markets, wine and cheese stores, hardware stores, you name it, we're around St. Louis. Just check the website.
And good charcoal should be able to break apart in your hands like
absolutely,
Rockwood does,
yeah.
right?
If you can't break it apart by hand, it's not charcoal yet. It's still wood. They didn't do the job, so make sure it can break apart by hand.
All right, get your Rockwood charcoal. Let's talk roofs. Voted best roofing pro in all of St. Charles County, RJR and Associates Roofing has been protecting people from the chaotic Missouri weather for over 20 years. Business and homeowners, whether you need to patch a leaky roof or it's just time for a completely new one, RJR has got you covered. Just call our buddy Ron today at 314-852-5074. That's 314-852-5074.
Marco, wait, What, no response? Hi, I'm Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring We Want You now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Hey guys, welcome back to CancelTheShow.com. CancelTheShow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson, Lizzie Sparks, and Projo running the boards. Thanks for jumping in, liking our stuff. Okay, we were reminding you, everybody, today, if you can, please like this show, like this episode, because if you want more people to watch and listen, there are certain algorithms out there, just part of it. They don't want to hear the full side of the story. We're always trying to give our opinions and give the full side of the story. So to help us do that, to reach more people, to make sure everybody's seeing us, if you hit the thumbs up button on this episode and generously share it to people else, it'll help to cancel this family. You can also, for those people who are on Facebook and Twitter, if you haven't already, drop us a quick line on today's episode and make sure you're following us. Otherwise, these platforms, they don't promote our content to you. So that's important, so that you drop a line as well. You don't have to do it all the time. It just helps. And finally, if you're listening to us on YouTube or Rumble, the best way to help us, quote, beat that algorithm is by giving this video a like as well. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified when we go live. We also drop videos throughout the day, our biggest stories as well. That stuff helps as well. And one other note for our podcast listeners, the straight podcast listening, not viewing, if there's somebody that comes to mind with any of these topics, all you have to do is just hit that arrow and share the button and send it to them in a text. It's very, very simple. And then that way you've done your part in helping us do what we can do today. Is we're independent media as we just continue to try to grow. Speaking of one thing we don't want to grow is clearly our deficit. Lisa said, feed that algorithm. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Okay. Kevin McCarthy and Biden apparently reached some agreement. Then I hear the far left complaining. I hear the far right complaining all about the debt ceiling. What's going to happen? Is this good? Is it bad? Lindsey Graham, of course.
There's nothing good about this.
Lindsey Graham saying, well, I'm not going to let it go through. But it's interesting you say that, Tabitha.
It had to be done.
Because, okay, go ahead. Did you?
It had to be done because we can't allow our country to suffer, or our citizens to suffer. But at the same time, I am 100% against it because you know why? Why are we so in debt? Why are we, $31 trillion in debt, $31.7 trillion in debt? And we have homeless people living on our streets. We have people who go without food and without health care. Why? Because we're giving all of our money away. Think about this, 73 cents out of every dollar you have goes to pay taxes. Employment taxes, food taxes, gas taxes, taxes everywhere. Where does that tax money go? It's not coming back into this country. Eric, it sure isn't being used to fix potholes, is it? It is going to other countries to aid other countries like Ukraine.
Well, isn't Representative Stephanie Bice from Oklahoma, isn't she with Gates and Boebert on, what did you call that group with McCarthy?
The Freedom Caucus.
Isn't she part of the Freedom Caucus?
What is her name?
Stephanie Bice.
I'm not sure. That name does not.
Well, she's out of Oklahoma. She's the freshman, quote, president.
And I don't know all of the Freedom Caucus members, but that does.
Well, she's saying that House Speaker Kevin McCarthy kept his promises to her and her group that he made at the start of the debt increase negotiations and is deserving of praise.
I agree.
For reaching a deal with conservative achievements while preventing the country from deteriorating into a further fiscal chaos. That's what she's saying.
Right. She's absolutely
She's like,
right.
Speaker McCarthy has been underestimated time and time again. He will be able to put together a deal that has some actual good provisions in it, and I look forward to supporting it later this week.
I agree. Drew Collins is absolutely right all this debt talk that you guys are jibber jabbering about over here, he's absolutely right.
What did he say?
He's absolutely wrong.
$5 out of $1 million. It's like you guys they're nibbling around the crust.
We
overspend. The problem is this, Tab.
As a country, and we're not spending it on ourselves.
We're not even having the right conversation. For people who have owned a business like myself. Okay, well then you know that we're not even having the right conversation.
No, Eric.
That the conversation is more like, we're in trouble. $35 trillion of debt is not sustainable. It would be the equivalent of your household having a debt of about, let's say you make $20,000 a month, $30,000 a year, $30,000 a year, and you have a $7 million nut that you have to somehow figure out how to pay off. You have no way of doing it. You don't have the revenue coming in. You have nothing.
They have the revenue coming in. That's the difference here, Eric. They
really don't.
Oh, yes, they do.
Their receipts are down from what I understand. They can't print bonds anymore. They don't want to take loans out from the world market anymore. I mean, there is some serious problem.
It's over. You know what? It's just like your household budget. It's overspending. Our country is overspending. Think about this in your own home. If in your own home, every time you get paid, you take all of your money but $1 and you send it to other people, you just give it away to other people because, this person needs food. I'm going to give them some money. Oh, this person needs new shoes. I'm going to give them some money. And then you have nothing left for your own home.
This is a political problem. And I feel in my soul like McCarthy has to come out with a PowerPoint presentation. And he almost, listen to me.
McCarthy did a fantastic job.
He almost has to come out with a PowerPoint. He has to rent out 3 hours on Fox News because no one else will give him airtime. He needs to rent out 3 hours on Fox News and says, guys, everybody gather around, get your Swanson's TV dinners. I'm about to tell you what the hell's going on here. I have a PowerPoint. I have economists. I have what the country's going to look like in 20 years if we don't fix this right now, because no one on this show knows the minutia of what's really going on. It's bad. It's super bad.
I think we know exactly what's going on, Eric. We know it's bad. The dollar has lost its value by 38%. 38%
and I think
and it's going to get worse.
And it's going to get worse.
Because
Other
to be
countries
honest
aren't
with you,
using our dollar anymore.
the Freedom Caucus, who I don't really subscribe to all this Freedom Caucus and the left.
Well, you should.
I don't really subscribe to the AOC, and I don't subscribe to all these people, these factions. Just do your job. That's what I subscribe to. But that being said, the Freedom Caucus is right this time. We're in dire straits. This is the Titanic. The gash in the boat. You've already hit the iceberg's behind you. You've hit it. You have got to rally everyone to figure out how to seal this leak.
We need to get rid of Congress is what we need to do. And we need to wipe the slate clean.
But we know Congress isn't.
We know it's not going to happen.
Tabitha on getting things
They want to
done.
raise the debt ceiling to $54 trillion is what they want to do. Kevin McCarthy did a fantastic job because you know what he did? He went and they wrote the bill. They wrote the bill ahead of time. And then they put the ball in the court of Democrats and they said, we are going to reduce your spending. We'll sign off. We'll approve on raising the debt ceiling if you agree not to spend as much money. And they had no choice but to agree.
Eric, here's where I say what you have to do. You've hit the Titanic. The Titanic has hit the iceberg. You've got to do something to try to plug that hole. This is where I think...
And you can do it.
And here's where I think it starts. And this is where I agree with Representative Bice, and I'm glad she put it in this way, so it's terms I can even understand. She said, I don't know how saving $2.1 trillion, which is the CBO estimate that was released this morning, is a bad deal. It is the start we need.
It's better than losing it, but still, they're not talking about the right things.
I agree with you.
It's like
it's a start.
It's like saying my car doesn't run, and you're going to. I don't see how putting a new muffler on it doesn't fix a problem. It doesn't even start. The car don't even start.
Mm-hmm.
You better start working on the engine. You better start working on the electrical system. The muffler is the last thing you need to worry about. Who cares if the car is loud? Just get the damn thing running. That's the thing that we always talk about on the show is we are always constantly in these conversations of the fire department showing up and trying to put the fires out in the bushes when the kitchen's up in flames. You have to prioritize. Now, Democrats, you just got to realize these social programs that we have put in place for the last 70 years, 50 years, whatever, those are in trouble too. There's going to be a day when you don't even have an option to try to fix those things. And you have got to start biting into that stuff. We don't make enough money anymore. You've devalued the dollar so bad that taxes aren't paying for your nut anymore. This is not 1950. We're in a jeopardized situation right now. Millennials and Gen Zers think they should have everything for free and not have to work for anything. So it's the mentality of the country that we really have to work on. So Freedom Caucus, I hate to say it, kind of keep it up because we can't spend anymore. We're in jeopardy.
Desperately need the Freedom Caucus because look at how much they have done for this country. All the things that Kevin McCarthy didn't want to agree to in the beginning, they forced him to agree because they absolutely refused to vote him in as speaker if he didn't agree ahead of time. And look how far we've come because of the Freedom Caucus.
And I do agree with you is like all of the stuff that we're giving away to other countries.
And it's silly stuff. It's not even the money to Ukraine. That's a big portion of it. But I'm going
I would have to say foreign spending has got to come to an end
Eric,
for right now anyway.
It's insane. If you go through and look at the list of things we spend money on as a country, we're like over in Scotland giving kids like cookies and stuff. We're in India teaching women how to play cricket. We're doing $500,000, by the way, for us to teach women how to play cricket in India. Do we care? Why does that even matter? It doesn't matter.
I don't know how much of them, and this might fall back into Drew Collins, what he said about the $5 into $1 million. And maybe it's just pennies on the dollar. Who knows?
It's not. We as a country we need money in our infrastructure.
$2.1 trillion is a start that we haven't had, and it's a stop. There's a ceiling. It's called a debt ceiling. It was not increased if this passes. Now, you have the far left and the far right both saying they're not going to allow this to pass because neither side thinks that it's good enough. Gee, thanks, guys.
And it's the left, unfortunately, who wants to continue our rise to glory as far as having this $54 trillion debt. If it was up to Bernie Sanders, it would be $100 trillion of debt. Keynesian economics, I think, is what they call it. It is basically destroying not even your grandkids anymore. It's destroying your kids' future in this country.
What future?
It used to be.
What future?
It used to be back in the old days. It was like now. This might not be affecting you, but it's going to really destroy your grandkids and your great grandkids. And like, oh yeah, well I need to worry about them. Now it's not.
There's
now
no American dream anymore.
Americans and businesses just got a ton of money about a year ago, and we kicked the can down way, 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 way far. We forget. Oh yeah, getting that money and those checks were nice to live the life that we're getting used to living, but that bill is going to come due. That wasn't free money. And that's what sucks because there will be a price to pay. It's never free. It's not.
Nothing is free.
And it's not going in the right direction.
And now all of our tax money, when you give your money to the government, guess where it's going? All those millions of folks coming across our border, it is being used to feed, clothe, house, teach them, because obviously they have the right to go to school. They have the right to housing. They have to have the right to medical care and free food, free housing. But guess what? Our own veterans living on the streets. Where's the money for these people?
Here we go again, sounding so dark and dire. And Tabitha is very frustrated over here.
Dark and dire right now.
Tabitha Hassel sounds frustrated. I
am frustrated.
Yeah.
I am tired of
now, how do we fix it?
I agree.
Money
how do we fix
going to the government. I am tired of my money going to a government when let's go back to America First policies. How are we going to do that? We won't be able to.
How do we fix it?
We won't be able to. You know,
what can we do?
I'll tell you what.
Dana Lash got she got a huge.
There is something we can do.
Dana Lash put an amazing show under the arch for the taxation thing. what was it? Can't remember what it was called.
Tea Party.
Tea Party. She started something and she grew to an amazing talent. And why can't we do something? Why can't you do something like that?
We try to come up with answers here. We try.
I have an answer.
Tabitha Hassel would be amazing putting something like this. I mean, seriously.
I just said I have an answer. Do you not want to hear the answer?
Yes.
I thought we just heard your answer.
That was not my answer. The answer, as a matter of fact, this comes from someone local, Missouri State Rep.
Here we go.
Richard West.
Yep.
He came up with this idea. And I'll tell you what, I think it's a fantastic idea. And I know people aren't going to do it, but I think they should. What do you think would happen if Americans, all conservatives or a good portion of conservatives stopped paying their taxes to the IRS?
That's your solution?
And I don't mean, you got to hear it out. You got to hear it out. And I don't mean illegally. Legally in this country. Legally. when the tax deadline comes around, you don't have to pay your taxes. You can file an extension. You can legally file an extension. And then you can legally file an extension again. What if all conservatives fought back by saying, we are not going to pay our taxes? We all file an extension. We all keep extending it until the IRS finally wakes up and says, you know what? We're not getting any tax. No, they do care because all this money going to Ukraine, it's you paying it. It's you paying it.
Money. Yeah, but they'll just write a report.
If you're not paying your tax dollars, they don't have any money to send to Ukraine. They don't have any money to line the pockets of Congress. And trust me, it will wake the government up if Americans
Lizzie, would you like to weigh in
taxes.
on No Tax Day?
And it's totally legal.
I agree with that. If everybody just stopped paying their taxes, what would the government do to us? Throw every single one of us into jail?
Exactly.
Eventually, we will have to pay.
And you do have to pay eventually, but you can extend it out to 2 years where you don't have to pay. And then the government has to allow you to make payments. Think how much that would hurt. That would hurt them far more than it hurt them.
And Tammy says if she doesn't pay her taxes, she's going to lose her professional license.
Do you think this is
I'm
why
talking
they got
about
all the
legally.
IRS agents now?
I'm talking about legally.
But
I will say this.
But they don't have that was a headline. They don't have all
Tammy,
those
you
IRS.
won't lose your professional license because it's legal.
Congress defunded most of it. The Republican House defunded most of it.
I just seen something like a couple of days ago where they actually pushed that through, or somehow that went through.
Most of the funding is not there anymore.
Yeah, but they're still hiring people. They're still training them on weapons. It's the craziest situation.
I will say this: we tasked Tabitha to do something positive, and she came up with a freaking idea.
No, I like it.
That was the first time she's ever done that.
Yeah. And people will. Thanks, Eric.
No, I gave you a compliment.
People will not lose your professional license. You will not go to prison. You won't go to jail because it's illegal. It's a legal loophole that you can continue to extend.
Only thing I'll say about that is this, and
this
is where we need an accountant. But it seems to me like even though you're doing an extension, it's on the books what you owe.
But it's legal. They can't come after you. There's no penalty for it. It's still legal.
I don't know if they can factor against it, but it seems like if it's on the books that Tabitha Hassel owes $1 million, we might not have it in the kitty, but it's ours.
And eventually they will get their taxes. I'm not saying never pay the IRS. I'm not saying that. I am saying you can legally extend. Everything I'm talking about is 100% legal.
Well, isn't that why we're in the trouble we're in now? Isn't that why we're in trouble now? Because
they'll just print more money.
But Janet Yellen was expecting to have more tax receipts this year, wasn't
Correct.
that?
Yes.
So we were
That's
supposed
what they
to be
claim.
in September. And
It's not.
That's what they claim.
Yeah, that's what they
And
claim.
what Tabitha's saying is spot on. Our tax person told us to do that for that very reason, that the government probably owes us so much money from the years that we owned a business. And they told us to hold on even up to 2 years so that they would have to pay us back. Now, I don't know if we're going to do that, but we did start the process because she said the government owes you money and they haven't paid it yet. So we're going to keep filing an extension until they do.
That's exactly
And from the comment line, Aaron says the IRS agents McCarthy just signed off on with the deal. He says that's in there. Drew says they only cut $10 billion of the $80 billion for agents.
They're still hiring the agents for the IRS. They already have. It's still going to happen. Maybe they won't have as much funding, but those 87,000 agents are still working. They're still being trained on weapons. They're still going to potentially come after us. And Terry said something about the interest and the penalties. It's not very much. I know somebody who just paid taxes after 3 years and they got charged $38.
You would have to have a coordinated effort. It couldn't be, oh, look, the cancel
It would have to be a coordinated effort.
The cancel us team just didn't pay their taxes.
And that's why it'll never happen.
Something tells me that there'd be people outside the door shutting us down.
They'd be knocking on the window and gone.
They'd be all there.
I think it sucks because I like paying taxes.
You do.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
I know why he's going to say it.
I'll tell you why. Because I like living in a country where your airports aren't falling on your head.
What? Did you literally just say
I
that?
like living
Our airports are falling on your head.
Well, that's true. I like living in a country where they do know how to fix a pothole here and there.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going.
I do like a country where we're supposed to be modernizing on a daily basis. I like that kind of stuff. So I I don't like anything.
And I hope
I don't
you're
like
being ridiculous right now, not being serious.
Because being serious.
I don't like.
We have the worst infrastructure. We're like a third world country. We are putting no money into our infrastructure. Look how old our airports are. Look at our railway system. It's closing down.
I like a society where our kids are being taught, advanced calculus.
I know you're kidding, right?
I just wanted to see your face.
Because you're not allowed to have honors classes anymore at most schools. So there's no advanced calculus because God forbid you're American and you might be smart.
Did you see up in arms? She just got this in.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Give it a shot.
I like to play. Okay, I don't like it, but I love having great parks.
Yes.
Like where we live, the state of Missouri has the best. They keep getting
most of them are nuclear dumps that they made. That's what we do in this country. But it's true.
See, it's a fun game to play, Lizzie.
True. You know what we do in this
Lizzie,
country?
try anything. It works for everything.
I was at Bush Wildlife Area over the weekend.
And a nuclear silo opened up and a nuclear missile flew over my head. It was amazing.
You know what? And it would be a federal park in a couple years because that's what we do in this country. is whenever we have some type of radiation catastrophe or some other crazy thing, guess what they do? They pave over it, they clean it up, and then it becomes a park, right? Look at
that's a good point.
Bush Wildlife Area. Look at Route 66 State Park. All of these parks, so many of them used to be nuclear radon sites, and now they're a park.
That's all right. It's all right. It could be worse. Yeah. It could be a shooting ground.
We took the Geiger counter out to Bush Wildlife Area yesterday.
How would you like to be Tabitha's kid?
So what does Tabitha do on Memorial
How would you like to be Tabitha's
kid? I take my Geiger counter out to the park to check on radon.
We did. And I will tell you what.
Mom, what do you want to do today? Get the Geiger counter. Okay.
Hey, have you seen the Geiger counter? Mom, I can already see an infomercial for this. When we have free time, we go to the park with our Geiger counter.
And
it's perfect for sunny days.
We put raw fish in the picnic basket.
But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of truth to what I'm talking about our park.
You are the funniest chick I've ever met in my life.
A lot of truth. I mean, look at Route 66 State Park. That used to be Times Beach.
Check out our Cancel This Geiger counter.
Yeah. We're going to all be at her house when something happens because she knows what it is.
Look at Francis Howell. Who builds a school right next to a dump site?
That's why you and I look like we do.
Yeah, we're screwed. Lizzie and I are toast.
I mean, what are we doing in this country? I mean, we are ridiculous, aren't we?
It is cancelthisshow.com. We try to have some fun around here, entertain, inform, learn from you guys as well, and cover the stories that you don't see all over the place. One of those stories, and I'm sorry, this hits home. Now, I'm being as polite as I can. I really like Sam Ponder. Not only is she a great NFL host, and it's not easy to be a female and talk football with guys.
It is now.
But be good and be respected.
Yeah, the sports babe.
She is
the sports babe?
She's the original. She was great. Well, Sam Ponder, and she's also married to a former NFL quarterback, Christian Ponder. Well, this was her tweet, and where are women supporting women? Where's the love, for God's sake? Okay, Sam Ponder's being called out. Sam, a woman, being called out by Nancy Armour, a USA Today columnist. She has long been very infamous for her incredible liberal ways and going after people if you say anything publicly about being conservative, about God, about anything. She was all for BLM, all for kneeling, all for calling out this country. It's a terrible country, blah, blah, blah. USA Today is all you need to hear. Yeah. Okay. This is all Sam Ponder tweeted. I barely said anything publicly about this issue, and I've had so many people message me, stop me in the street to say thank you, and tell me stories about girls who are afraid to speak up. This is about competing against guys for fear of lost employment or being called hateful. It is not hateful to demand fairness in sports for girls. So Sam Ponder was responding to Riley Gaines, the swimmer who had to compete against the man, Leah Johnson, who said that, it wasn't fair that she had to see Leah's junk in the locker room before they swam because they changed in the same locker room together. And she's like, literally, I saw his junk.
Yeah.
I saw his junk.
And then I had to swim.
I wonder if she took a picture
of his junk.
You would.
I would.
So with that being said, that's all Sam Ponder tweeted. Then the wrath of Nancy Armour comes after, saying, quote, all that is plain old bigotry. She says, don't be fooled by the people who screech about fairness to cloak their bigotry towards transgender girls and women.
Mm-hmm.
The transgender girls and women who have the audacity to want to play sports in particular.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me. Then Armour called Ponder's writing hate, fear, and ignorance because she was supporting Riley Gaines, who says she just wants to compete against women, not men who are trying to be women.
I can destroy this entire argument within like
game
a
on.
minute.
Go.
Do it.
Transgendered woman wants to become a man. Her name used to be Felicia. Now it's Fred. I've always wanted to be a football player. It can go one way. It can come back the other way. What woman who used to be a woman is now a man could go and play NFL football?
Are you Fred?
No one could do that, right? It couldn't happen. Why is that? Because they don't have the physicality to do that, correct?
Correct.
Would it be amazing if a woman could say, I'm going to go compete with the man and dominated the men, right?
It can't happen.
Right? It cannot happen. She would get killed. He would get killed, wouldn't she?
Yes.
That's why it can never happen. Now, flip the script. Bam. Why do men want to go compete against women? Because they can destroy them without even thinking twice about it.
They don't like women is what it is.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they really do want to be a female. Maybe they do. And I empathize with that. I do. But you cannot take out what you want on someone else because you have dominance over them. You just do. You have dominance over them. There's your argument. It's very clear. I understand that the people who want to push gay pride night, or they want to push gay pride into the schools, or they are dead set and they want to put gay merchandise all over Target. I get it. It's an ideological thing. I love you. I hope that it works out for you. But any man that is 6 foot tall can beat any woman who is 5'8".
Not necessarily.
Anyway, back to the script.
I am personally
any man who would be beaten, and I told Vic this. I told Vic
we're different. We're different physiologically.
Tabitha, I could crawl faster than you in a 50-yard dash, and I
probably true.
And
I'm not very fast.
I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to be mean.
I know
I'm
you're
not.
You're right. I completely. I own a security business. I absolutely know that the men we hire are stronger than the women.
So
but
why
they both
can't
serve
that
their
be
purpose.
factored in? Again, if steroids is a personal decision, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa were putting balls out of ballparks left and right back in what season was that? 2000, somewhere in there?
1998.
1998.
But there are a lot of very strong
It's a
women
personal
out there.
decision.
They're in our military. We see
and
them all the
now we see Barry Bonds with an asterisk by his name. We see McGuire with an asterisk by his name. If you did steroids, you have an asterisk because you physically could do something better than your generations before you. You think Roger Maris was happy about the freaking steroids?
Hey, Drew, let me explain something to you real quick, Democrat Drew. The reason we bring this up is because of the next quote that I'm going to say. You have a woman who wants another woman fired, wants all of her followers to call her out on ESPN, wants all of her followers to go attack her because this Nancy from USA Today doesn't like her opinion. That's a massive issue when somebody wants to take away your job that you've worked hard for because you don't agree with their opinion. And this is a woman going after a woman. And Sam Ponder has no idea who, quote, Nancy is. Yet Nancy comes out and goes after, attacks Sam Ponder unprovoked. That's a problem.
Exactly.
And here is the problem that you have with all of this. Nancy goes, did Ponder use her platform to express outrage at any of this? Urge her nearly 500,000 followers on Twitter to write or call her representatives and ask that women be given the funding and opportunities they rightly deserve. Did she participate in any of the many excellent documentaries, videos, and commentary that ESPN did to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Title IX? This is why it's a massive issue, because in life, people will try to cancel you. The quote, Drew, Democrat Drew, you think you're tolerant. You're not. And that's the problem. You want tolerance from other people, but yet if they don't agree with you, then you support violence, and you've said that, and you support all these issues. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And it shows who people are inside. You can't force somebody into your way of thinking, and then if they don't, fire them.
Yeah.
Beat them. Do whatever it takes. That's where this is the problem.
And isn't this funny?
And where's the women loving women aspect to this?
The Nancy Pelosi's. Where is Nancy Pelosi going? You know, I was a feminist. I came up through the, I went to Woodstock. She probably did go to Woodstock. You know, I was a flower power child. I went, you know, I wanted, you know, you've come a long way, baby. The Virginia Slim days. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
She was probably one of those. And now a woman is like begging Nancy Pelosi to throw him a lifeline saying, hey, we're women. We want our sports back.
You know what? You
and
have
you don't hear a
two
crap
women right here.
You don't hear crap from Nancy Pelosi, any of the feminists out there. You don't hear anything from them. You know, to be honest with you, Tabitha, if the WNBA came through St. Louis, I would love to go see a game with transgender dudes.
Well, they're not.
I would have I would have a beer. I would have popcorn, and I would be laughing I'd be like, this is hilarious.
And real quick, Drew, you did support violence when BLM was rioting in the streets. So I'm sorry. I'm not trying to call you out specifically, but since you've come on and said the things that you said and were backing and not agreeing with us bringing this comment up, you did. You supported BLM tearing up the streets and doing whatever they had to do to be heard.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
You know,
but that's a whole nother subject. So
we all like Drew.
You did support violence.
We all like
as
Drew.
long as it was violence and for the issue that you wanted.
We all like Drew, but here's the deal. You are one of the most closed-minded people I think I've ever met in my life.
Well, that's because he's a Democrat.
And part of
we like Democrats.
Part of the deal with this show is I feel like I really want my mind changed. I feel like everybody that comes and participates on this show wants the same thing.
I don't think they want their mind changed.
I think that they're like, this is screwed up. I really got to get some clarification on what's going on here. I can get my mind changed. I want to.
But you're on the fence, so it's easier for you to say that. Most of us, you're never going to change my mind about anything that I already believe in.
Well, that's not good either.
No, it's perfectly fine because I do a lot of research. I think that the things I have strong opinions about
politics, though,
are
your mind's made up on pretty much everything.
Not on everything. It's not, but most things.
Yeah, like 90%
most things
of you or topics you're made up on.
I mean, let's go this.
But with good reason.
Let me ask you this. We're talking about this transgender
because
thing.
when you're educated
and
about
the
something,
transgender
you
thing,
have strong opinions.
There's something weird going on with the transgender thing that's not on the up and up that I can feel. Something else is underneath it, the people pushing it. I get it. I don't know what it is. And it makes us talk about it, Drew. I mean, we talk about it all the time.
I hate talking about it too.
But here's the deal.
I hate it, Drew. I'm with you.
Here's the deal. Now that we had this little segment today, Tabitha, and you fixed one.
You hate talking about it.
I hate
but
talking
you
about
know
it.
that this subject needed to be talked about.
We have to talk. We have to
That's
cover
why.
it.
Now
so
fix
you
it.
Can't.
But as
if
a
you give
woman,
Drew an inch, he'll take a marathon.
As the two women here who are the ones who should be the most upset about any of this stuff.
You don't seem too upset about it.
Well, I just haven't had the opportunity to talk about this.
Go.
As a woman, and I'm going to say the same thing I say every single time we talk about this because nothing has changed. Where are the women in the pink cats? Where are the feminists? Where are the people who fought?
They're on the side of the transgender.
Hard for women. Look how far women have gone. There was a time we couldn't vote. There was a time we couldn't play sports. We fought so hard, and so many women sacrificed so much to be able to play these sports for men to come in and try to one-up us in our own categories. I mean, where are the people standing up against it? You know, I hear more men speak out and care about this issue than women.
I agree.
I'm disappointed in my fellow women.
Me too. Women are not speaking up. And then the women do attack women. For example, my conservative daughter, first time ever, posted something on Facebook about both of these issues. Who attacked her? It wasn't men. It was liberal women. Yeah. And why are they okay with other men taking away women's rights and winning races? They don't care because they act like, oh, but the poor guy's gay.
Because gay rights are more important than women's rights.
Correct.
And if you speak out, Lizzie, what happens is people say you're anti-gay.
And they're not anti-gay.
I'm not anti-gay, and I speak out against it. It's women's rights. I mean, we went so far, right? And then look where we're at now. Same with segregation. I mean, look,
right.
We fought so hard for civil rights.
I just feel sorry
and now
for the
people want to
women.
segregate
I feel sorry
themselves.
for the women, but on an entertainment level, I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to see transsexual men at the Olympics just beating the crap out of women. And the only reason I say that,
Oh my gosh.
but the only reason I say that is because I want the people who push this to understand how much damage they did. They don't understand it. On paper,
You're right, they don't get
Lizzie,
it.
look at this. On paper, they're like, transgendered rights, they want to play women's sports, let them play. Okay, let NBC go film one of those things in 4K and broadcast it all over the world as a 6'4" man trying to be a woman in the Olympics is 14 minutes ahead of everyone else in the 800-yard dash.
Well, and you're right. And that's why those two men didn't show up for that.
Is that why they didn't show up?
Well,
supposedly.
What they didn't show up? Why?
No, they didn't show up. You're right.
They didn't show up. And their reasoning that they're saying they didn't show up was because everyone was going to make fun of them.
There's a problem with that. There's a problem with that, though. The two women didn't get an opportunity to run.
They're sitting at
home.
home.
I'll say the story. It happened in California, and here's what happened. You had two guys in the state qualifying meet, and I say two guys, two boys, not women, biological boys that qualified. Okay, so those were two spots that went to these boys, and it was already a controversial decision to allow the boys to compete with the girls. Then the boys go and compete, and what do you know? They qualify for state, knocking two girls out of those spots. Then, as bad as it was that these girls had to accept the fact that the next two in line would have had a chance to compete for state, their lifelong dream, they're over, they're done because of the two boys. Then, without any word, the state meet comes this weekend, and guess what? The boys don't show up. The boys don't show up for their race that they qualified for the girls' race. And then the race director, the meet, this would be like Misha in the state of Missouri.
Yes.
The governing body says, well, it's really not their fault. It's because of all the hate and bigotry that they've received. They were afraid that people were going to be mean to them when they came, so they decided not to come. And two girls that should have qualified didn't get to go. These guys qualified in the girls' race and then didn't show up and then started blaming everybody else why they're not there.
That is so...
But it's the state of California.
Yeah.
I repeat, the state of California. I repeat, the state of California. And then this got a little headline because Riley Gaines, once again, who has really jumped into this role, decided to tweet about it and bring it full force to remind everybody what's happening. And it's sad that this is what's going on. So
it is sad. It is sad. I know we're a big track family. My husband's a track coach. My kids strive very hard to get to state. And so, for example, my husband's track team, which is in St. Charles County, they won state. But if one girl had not played because a guy had been there, they wouldn't have won. And so for those men to not show up almost is worse than showing up because it shows really how weak-minded they are. Let's steal the girl's spot, but then, oh, boo-hoo, somebody's going to call me names, so I'm not going to show up. You know, it's a good thing I'm not near him. I'm not a violent person, but I would have smacked them right upside the head.
Oh, I think you could be violent if
I think that
I would if I had to.
I would like to think that we are smart enough to come up with a solution. And I think that if I was putting this in a big bucket and ending it like this, I would say, let the men who think they're women compete with the women. They don't displace any of the other women. But if you want to have a transgendered sporting franchise in college or in high school or whatever it is, you allow transgenders to participate in them. Now, you have the women competing and you have two podiums. You have the transgender on one podium.
So you're saying they should get their own sport.
They should be able to participate.
Their own division.
They should be able to participate in the sport.
There's not enough of them to have their own division.
Not yet. You're right.
You let them participate with the women.
Not even close.
You let them participate with the women, and there's a T by their name, and they can do the track and field, and they can say the winner of the women's track and field was Samantha. But inside of that track and field race, there was a Derek. And the Derek still won his race, but he's not competing so much against the women.
How about we don't do any of that? We go by the innie outie rule. If you have an innie, you're on the girls team. If you have an outie, you're on the boys team.
Because you're living in 2023.
You have it cut off.
Audis. Innies,
Because
Audis.
you're
Yeah, because you were
living-
born with an Audi.
Because Tabitha Hassel.
However you're born is what you are.
Tabitha Hassel is living.
Oh, so it's not an innie or an Audi.
Well, technically, it's by
No, because
they
if you
call
get it
you
cut,
DFAM, designated female at birth, means you have an innie.
Because you're not living in that world anymore.
And
your
you know
world's
what,
over.
Eric, you know where the solution
world's
comes
dead.
from?
It's
comes
the
from
Gen Z.
No, it's
You're living
it's
in
the
Gen Z.
government. It's the problem here is the government. It's not the people. It's the government that allows this. Because guess what? We have to remember that the Biden regime, tied Title IX funding to sports, and so now they have to allow men to compete in women's sports. Because if the school doesn't do it, they're going to lose their Title IX funding. But then look at the states. Look at Florida. It's not allowed in Florida.
The
DeSantis outlawed it in Florida. Why can't we do that here in Missouri? Why doesn't every state step up?
When it comes to intercollegiate sports, the crime is not that there's a man that wants to run as a woman. The crime is that there's a woman who doesn't get the scholarship that she deserves.
Then the government
That is a
needs to
crime.
put a stop to it. Instead, we have the Biden regime. This is what they want because they're following the Bernie Sanders rules. This is what our government
it's actually
wants.
up to the states.
And it is
the states you have to demand in the states that you live in what is going to happen.
If they did it in Florida, you can do it anywhere, right?
Yes.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and
look what DeSantis did. Even though this is actually a federal law, it's not a state law. But DeSantis stood up. He put an end to it in Florida, and if they can put an end to it there, they could do it anywhere.
and they're doing in other states. It's not being allowed.
Correct.
It's not being allowed in ever. It's not, and that's what I'm saying.
Why is
it's a state issue?
What about Missouri?
I don't know. And we haven't had any issues in Missouri that I'm aware of yet.
I'm
We
sure
just
it's just a matter of time
It's just
before
a matter of
Kirkwood
time.
High School has some kid.
Correct.
Over there, and that Kirkwood or Webster goes
Is it
doesn't
happening
care.
and we don't know? Or if it were happening,
we
would
would
we
know.
know?
No,
I
we would
guess
know.
I
Kids in
wonder
school,
because
I
there's
don't
been
know.
people that have run at these meets that do win races, and people are already questioning at the Missouri track meets: is that a guy? Is that a girl? Because the person is 7 feet tall and very muscular. I don't know. It's making people question anyway.
We would know. I'm just in sports.
Where's Governor
we would know.
Parson? Let's
We
call him
would
up.
know. Well, we have him. He'll be coming on soon. It'll be a topic that we talk with him about. We're just trying to find a date.
And we
right
know
now.
Andrew Bailey is doing everything within his power to keep these ridiculous things out of our schools.
He is a badass. He is so
Yes,
good.
he is.
I love that guy.
And he'll be back on with us soon too.
Yes, he will.
Yes, in the month. Well, that would be probably next week is when we're looking to do that. So we're getting ready to talk to them to figure out when we can get that done. Also, which is interesting, we've talked about it. It doesn't matter where you listen or where you view us. St. Louis was national news because our circuit attorney, and we became, and over the weekend, we were honored as the most dangerous city in America again, according to Forbes. Thank you very much. Well, Kim Gardner left office, forced out of office. She quit, but she was forced out. She did not want to have to deal with everything that was being put upon her. So Gabe Gore takes over today. Today is his first day as the circuit attorney. Good luck. Yeah, if anybody's bring some lunch by for that guy.
He needs some big prayers.
Take him a drink.
Big prayers.
Buy him some ice cream, something. That guy has a massive job.
I wonder if the people that his assistants that quit are going to come back.
Well, that's the first thing that has to happen.
You got to
gotta have
restaff
Hopefully
that
so.
office.
You've got to have a staff. Now, here's the thing. He's taking this job, and it's only until voters have the right to vote this person in. And that election will take place in 2024. So Gabe Gore is now pretty much auditioning for the job to see if this is going to be a possibility for him to, quote, turn around all the mismanagement and turmoil that was left by the former circuit attorney, Kim Gardner.
Even Drew has offered him good luck.
Because he knows it's right that this guy's going to have his hands full.
Yeah.
And can they vote Kimmy back in?
No,
They can't.
No.
Okay.
she can't even run. So no.
She's going to be a nurse. You're literally going to
Oh,
show.
that's right.
You're going to
That's
show up at SSM with a splinter, and she is going to take it out like a bitch.
Could you imagine a police
It
officer
is-
having her walk in the
I'm
room?
telling you what. Could you imagine if Kim Gardner walked in your room? You'd be like, you'd be scared for
I
your
would
life.
pee in my
refuse.
pants.
I would refuse.
I'm here to take your blood pressure, and your arm falls off.
Yeah, for sure. Don't have one of those blue
It's
line
just rough.
flags on your shirt. or
She'll
she'll
have to move to
kill
another
ya.
state to be a nurse.
Yeah, you're probably.
I don't know, man. If you were down at SLU or wherever the emergency care system was, wherever you lived, you'd go there just to see her.
Lisa said she can run again unless she's disbarred.
I was told she can. And she hasn't been disbarred, but I don't remember the whole charge issue. If there were charges that were coming or going. But once again, I mean, I don't even want to talk about hypotheticals.
She's not going to run again.
Let me tell you something. This is a lady.
She wants no
This
part
is
of
a
that.
lady.
No.
She's taking day classes at
I would say
SLU.
she knew her end was coming.
She's not
She
even
knew her end
taking
was
night
coming.
classes. She's not even doing Phoenix
Why else she's
online.
supposed to be prosecuting cases?
She's literally over there walking around with the kids with a hypodermic needles trying to be a nurse.
She really is.
Come on. She doesn't want to be the prosecutor.
And it's not
anymore.
even a joke. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It is.
That's what's scary. It's actually the truth.
No, it's sad because once again, St. Louis is in a bad spot.
Will it make a difference? Will having someone new in the office, will it make a difference?
In time, I do believe it can.
And then when we come up to the election, we don't know who's going to be running. Is there going to be another Soros-backed candidate?
Of course,
in the
there will
race?
be 100%.
And then what if that person wins? And of course, they probably will. Then are we going to be right back in the same situation? They might even
I think
be
the
worse than
luster
her.
of George Soros is kind of wearing off.
No, it's not.
The money doesn't.
No, it's not. No.
The money
Eric, I
luster
wish you were
never
right.
wears off. And it's all about the cash. You have to have the cash to go out and do the things that you need to do.
They're still on their 30 year plan. They're not giving up.
And
he's still got lots of money.
Plenty. And a son to take his place.
Mhm. Unfortunately. And it's scary. Now we know. It's not fun. I mean, we laugh about it, but that George Soros dude is scary.
There's no good. And it's not just him. There's so many others too, but we're not in a good place.
it all gets back to the DEI and the ESG things that we were talking
Absolutely.
about. Unfortunately, that kind of thing is going to happen. And you have people who are going to say things. You have people who are going to go out and do things. And of course, it takes time for people to change their habits. It also takes time for people to, break down, because a lot of people like Tabitha, like you just said, I'm dead set in how I feel. Well, guess what? There's people who are dead set in how they feel.
Absolutely.
100% against what you may hear here.
They're wrong, but yes.
And
Could
now
you
people
imagine
know what
that?
it's like to co-anchor a show with Tabitha Hassel.
God.
Well, I'm talking about a good percent of Democrats and liberals. Yes, they are wrong.
You know what? This is kind of going back to something else, but somebody just said on the chat line, just think about this, you guys. How many other people are like Kim Gardner now becoming nurses, and what are they going to be shooting in our arms in the hospital?
There are so many of them out there.
That's scary.
They have leftover fentanyl from the drugs coming into St. Louis.
Right? They sure do.
But you also have a situation too, and it was a headline today. You have a Seattle business owner for Eric, since Eric spent time there, who was pleading with the city officials in Seattle after losing $50,000. Well, she installed hog wire in her store. So
What?
She's like, I'm going to do whatever I need to do. She started to demand action from the city.
Oh, they don't care.
She owned an antique marketplace just outside Seattle. So
Can you blame her?
So she
No.
installed plywood and hog wire to try and deter thieves, because she said she's lost so much damn money. Quote, absolutely. I've lost plenty of revenue. I've lost many customers. And on that same token, though, much of the community has rallied around us, and we get calls and emails daily from people saying, quote, how can we help? And I just keep saying, shop small businesses right now.
That's right.
Because we're struggling. And she ended with this: the crime is real. No word on city leadership in regards to what they're going to, quote, do, or any, quote, action plan in the city of Seattle to stop the craziness that's going on.
They're going to do nothing. I'm telling. Seattle was the beginning of the defund. They were defunding police before it was even popular. I'm telling you, it was it. So they
it's
love
the government's fault. The government, Eric, the government voted. They literally voted to give that police station. They just built it. It was like multi-million-dollar police station. The city voted to just give it to these people.
They just didn't. First of all, when I was there, it wasn't a crime-ridden area. It was kind of hippie-ish, I guess, even downtown Seattle, which was back then was like the high-tech capital of the Northwest. And so people just went about their business and they didn't feel like crime was a big thing. You didn't have to.
Most of those hippie-ish people that you speak of are the liberals that are creating all of these ridiculous policies.
What was important to Seattle when I was there was they wanted free transportation for everybody. That was the first thing I remember. They wanted, and that's expensive. The second thing they wanted was to make sure that people had the ability to take their hypodermic needles into a well-lit facility on every corner. So that was true. There was a Starbucks, or there was a coffee shop, and there was a kind of a nice storefront that had fluorescent lighting and little booths that you could shoot up and put your hypodermic needles in the disposable thing. Then the second thing I remember was that the homeless took over all the toilets downtown Seattle. That was the third thing. This is back in 2003, right? 2004.
And it started so much earlier than all of that.
And it did. But then you can just imagine the problem. And I always talk about, if you're a pilot, you better start pulling up way in advance of the hill or you're going to hit the hill eventually. They hit the hill, and the criminals knew that they had the upper hand over the city, and that's why you had them taking over Capitol Hill. Remember when they took over Capitol Hill?
It spreads like cancer. The town I used to live in Chicago, in the Chicago area, I wouldn't even go there anymore. You couldn't even visit. It's too dangerous. Crime and this criminal element, it spreads like cancer. It starts in one area and it continues to expand. What are we going to do? We keep running from it, don't we? We keep moving further away from the cities. What's going to happen when there's nowhere else
different.
to go?
I thought that too.
There's going to be nowhere else
going
to
farther
go.
and farther west in all towns, but don't
out.
fix the crime.
And they never fix it.
Yep.
Well, the cities are always different. They have different dynamics. Like Seattle or San Francisco, tent city-ish. So just do whatever you want. I don't think the crime is such the problem. In St. Louis, it's violent crime.
Well,
St. Louis is a different problem than San Francisco.
Very different problem. But at the same time, look at the people who live on Venice Beach in California. There's a lot of famous people who have houses right there along the ocean front in Venice Beach. They have homeless people sleeping in their front yards. I mean, it's a different problem, but it's yet a problem people are trying to move and escape from. Where are we going to go when we have more people every year addicted to drugs, more crime being committed, where we will run out of places to run? Then what do we do?
No, the country, there was a day in this country, and I wish I lived in that time period. I can't believe how do you as a society devolve on purpose? But there was a day in this country in the 40s, 50s, and 60s when to get on an airplane, you would put on a suit, tie, and you would walk in there and you would be upright and you would say yes or no, sir. You would hold doors open for your girlfriend or your wife. And it was just polite.
Now it's people in pajamas.
How in the hell did you devolve into this? You go onto a damn plane with Birkenstock sandals. You don't wash your armpits. You don't say you don't say yes or no, sir, anymore. You yell at these people. You yell at people who are servicing you. I mean, it's just so we have done this to ourselves in a way. And it's been like Lizzie said, it's been our small governors, it's been our mayors, it's been our leadership, and then it filters down into us.
Well, a great way to end the podcast today is what Aaron just said. An absence of morality is how you devolve. You take morals out of anything, you're left with the crap that's left behind. And then we become like animals, unfortunately. God, we love you guys for joining us again today. Great show, Tuesday show. We will be back tomorrow, part of the Wednesday show. Weed Wednesday, talk a little real estate. We got things kicking. Also working on a terrific interview. See if we can get him this week. But do you remember the billionaire tech guy that was murdered, stabbed in San Francisco?
Yes.
Working on his partner, his male partner is a friend of mine and had no idea that they were together.
Wow.
And he's got some big time insight because we all had our opinions on what was happening with this tech industry.
Yes. Yeah.
So that will be a can't miss interview situation that we're working on. Hopefully we can get that Thursday, but we'll keep you posted. Stay tuned to our updates for Projo running the boards, Lizzie Sparks on our chat line, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel, Vic Faust. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Have an awesome day. It does it for this May 30th podcast. We'll see you tomorrow.